Have you ever prayed and felt nothing? No answer, no sign, no direction, just silence. You're crying, you're believing, you're holding on, but it feels like God has gone quiet. If that's you right now, I need you to stay with me, because what feels like silence might actually be something deeper than you think. Today, we're talking about why does God feel silent when you need him the most. Let's break it down in simple truth. If this message speaks to you at any point, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. You never know who is silently struggling. The first thing you need to understand is this: silence is not the same as absence. Just because God is quiet doesn't mean he has left you. The Bible says in Deuteronomy 31 verse 6, he will never leave you nor forsake you. Never means never, even when you don't feel him, even when you don't hear him, even when everything around you is falling apart. God is still there. Think about a teacher during a test. During classes, the teacher talks, explains, and guides. But when it's time for the test, the teacher becomes quiet. Not because they don't care, but it's time to see what you've learned. Some of you are not being ignored. You are being tested. Let's be honest. We all love it when God answers quickly. We love when doors open fast. We love it when prayers are answered instantly. But real faith is not built in comfort. The Bible says in Hebrews 11 verse 1, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Did you catch that? Faith means trusting, even when you don't see anything happening. If God spoke every single time immediately, you wouldn't need faith, you would just need sight. But God is more interested in growing your faith than making you comfortable. Because comfort doesn't grow you, faith does. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean nothing is happening. God is always working, even in silence. Look at the story of Joseph. He was betrayed, sold into slavery, thrown into prison. And for years, it looked like God was silent. But behind the scenes, God was positioning him for something bigger. Later, in Genesis 50 verse 20, Joseph says, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. What if your silent season is actually a setup? What if God is arranging things you can't see yet? Sometimes God is doing his best work where you can't see it. Sometimes God allows silence not to push you away, but to pull you closer. When everything is loud and clear, we often stay shallow. But when God feels distant, we begin to seek him more. Jeremiah 29 verse 13 says, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Notice that it doesn't say casually. It says with all your heart. Silence can be God's way of saying, come closer. Don't just seek my hand, seek my heart. God doesn't want a surface-level relationship with you. He wants depth. Even Jesus, the Son of God, experienced a moment where God felt silent. On the cross, Jesus cried out in Matthew 27 verse 46, my God, why have you forsaken me? That's deep. Jesus felt the weight of silence. So if you feel that way sometimes, it doesn't mean your faith is weak. It means you're human. But here's the powerful truth. Even in that moment, God had not abandoned him. And 3 days later, resurrection came. Which means silence is not the end of your story. Let's be honest. Feelings can be overwhelming. You feel alone. You feel forgotten. You feel like your prayers are hitting the ceiling. But feelings are not always facts. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7, for we walk by faith, not by sight, and not even by feelings. You may feel like God is far, but his word says he is near. You may feel unheard, but God says he listens. Psalm 34 verse 17 says, the righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. So even when you don't feel heard, heaven has already received your prayer. This one is hard, but necessary. God doesn't work on your schedule. Isaiah 55 verse 8 says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. Sometimes the silence is not rejection, it's timing. You're saying, God, why now? And God is saying, trust me, not yet. Because if God answered everything immediately, you might not be ready for what you're asking for. And God cares more about your readiness than your rush. If you're in a silent season right now, here's what you do. 1. Keep praying, even when it feels empty. Prayer is not about feelings, It's about connection. 2. Stay in the Word. God may feel silent, but His Word is always speaking. 3. Worship anyway. Worship shifts your focus from your problem to God's power. 4. Remember what He has done before. If God did it before, He can do it again. 5. Don't give up. Galatians 6 verse 9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Listen to me. God's silence is not punishment. God's silence is not abandonment. God's silence is not the end. Sometimes it's preparation. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's a deeper invitation. And sometimes it's just a reminder that your faith must grow beyond what you can feel. So if you're in a season where God feels quiet, hold on. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Keep walking. Because the same God who seems silent today will speak at the right time. And when He does, everything will make sense. If this message spoke to you, don't scroll away. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs encouragement today. You're not alone in this. God is still with you, even in the silence,